Wow. Wow. High octane intro here. That's what we offer at the Alter Ego Podcast. Episode 185. Starting right here, right now with me and Ryan and Rhino and Nello and everybody. Here we go, baby.
What?
Woo!
That was a lot. I don't think I could handle that.
How many caffeines have you had today?
I haven't had caffeine in over a week.
What?
How many cocaines have you had today?
No, that's his favorite type of weed,
Yeah.
right?
I like to-
Things have you had?
I like to chop it up like a centipede and act like it's crawling up my nose.
Oh, shit.
Ladies and gentlemen, how you doing? Episode 185. We're here. We're back. We're ready to talk about big things, guys. Who sat and watched 5 hours worth of chairs go by as Marvel announced what we'll call part of the Doomsday Cast? Who sat and watched it?
I did.
5 hours? The whole
You,
thing?
you did?
No, that's Cap. I don't even know that was a thing.
Cap.
Cap
Yeah.
wasn't announced.
Oh, hey, by the way, Ryan.
Yeah.
Thank you for being on the show. Rhino and the Great White North. How you doing, bud? Good. Joined by Nello.
Did I not?
No,
Did I not punch dance out
No,
my
you didn't.
race and announce all of you in the
I think
beginning?
you did. In the
no, you
beginning.
didn't. I promise you didn't say anything to any of us. I will
Right,
bet
right.
a
You
Buffalo
did.
nickel.
Thank you.
He did. He definitely did. It's just
No, he did not.
Yeah,
It
I
just
sure
wasn't
did.
the you.
Go back and check the tape.
he just
You
didn't
guys are going to feel really silly in
Rhino
about an hour and a half.
spit out.
Here's what's
like,
going to happen, guys. Hold on, because this is what happens every time Rhino challenges me on something that I'm confident about. He's always like, okay, all right, whatever. No, that's fine. That exact energy. He will not deny it because he knows he can't. And then
All right.
what'll happen? There you go. So what'll happen is he'll check this immediately after the recording, or maybe tomorrow, and I'll just get in. I'm embarrassed.
I'm telling you, you did not introduce us. I am actually right on this one.
Okay.
Okay, so when
Would
I
you
take the
like to
screenshot
bet
of this
money
video,
on this?
It's going
I will
up.
bet a crisp, brand new $1 bill.
Second?
that man's got
Second?
He's got a free $1. Bro.
Let's go.
He damn
Let's
sure
go.
is.
All right. Love it.
He even calls me by my slave name.
I did. I
He
did.
didn't. He
go.
didn't because I didn't get the Great White North.
Oh, that's what you want. You
See
want
what
the
I'm saying? It's all
Shit,
about
we didn't
me.
say anything to anybody. All right, dude. All right, fine. I'm winning this $1.
Okay.
Every single one of you are
Where's
Everyone in
this
the
wall of
chat.
shame going up? So all these dollars.
Feige, I know you're a big fan. Back me up on this. Okay, so who sat and watched 5 hours worth of chairs? Ryan said he did, but he announced that he was lying.
No,
Was the thing actually 5 hours long?
why the hell would I do that?
Crap.
You know what? There are actual psychotic people out there that probably watched every second.
All 5 hours, Chad?
You didn't watch 5 hours. You didn't watch 5 hours.
Okay. I didn't intently watch 5 hours. You're
Okay.
correct. I sat with my phone as I was writing and working and had
It was in the background.
stream up. Yeah. Did I sit and watch that? No, I'm not a psychopath in that regard. But I did watch it. Let's just gauge the room. Are we excited about? I'm going to go through the list and everybody that was announced, and obviously whatever that may mean for the story or the plot, blah blah blah. But anybody that we're particularly excited about?
I just
Yeah,
want to
yeah.
say we're getting Gambit back. Done. I'm
That,
good.
that was your most excited.
That's it. Yep, I'm okay.
You know, dude,
give me that-
I have a
give me that accent.
I have a
Let's
tangent that I need to go on here in
go.
about 2 minutes. But
That's like going into like the best ice cream parlor in the world and saying, "I'll take the vanilla from the carton back there, please."
Or
The
how dare
Channing
you
Tatum Gambit?
speak- How dare you speak that way about one of the best Gambit performances
Listen, my man's
I've
gonna make
ever
a name for himself.
experienced?
Yeah, it's a really big selection choice you have there.
can I pause? Can I pause right here? I promise this applies. Just pause right here.
Okay.
So I drove to in Florida last week. That's why I wasn't on last week's show, or I don't even know if we had one or not.
No, we didn't.
So as I'm on my way back, we drove one day to Nashville, the next day home. I was listening to old podcasts of this show,
Oh no.
and we had an episode where we went off for like 20 minutes about how much fucking Gambit sucked in Deadpool, and this fucker was the only one that liked him.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, excited. Hype.
In Deadpool versus Deadpool and Wolverine, right?
Yes. What was the gentleman's name that like he started this podcast with you? It was that show that he was on.
Mark.
Yes. Yeah.
Rothfuss.
Yep.
The cyborg.
The cyborg Mark.
Dude, we were just laying into him. Not
But-
Mark, Channing Tatum.
I can't get excited for that one. All right, but let's go on. Hey, listen. That doesn't demean your excitement for him. I'm glad you're excited he's there.
Yes,
I'm
yeah.
excited he's there. But if you give me all those names and ask me who I'm most excited for, that ain't it.
OG X-Men.
Okay. Well, that's
OG X-Men.
one name. Give me one name.
Oh my God, Magneto. Ian
McKellen.
McKellen, yeah.
97.
Yeah, he's like.
I actually
97.
think they're dropping the ball.
But if he's
with
actually
getting those two
Gandalf,
there.
then who knows?
But the reason why I'm excited for these people is we thought that Deadpool was going to be like the send off for the X-Men universe, right? We had all those theories about how he's going to go around killing the X-Men universe. We thought that was going to be their send off. This is actually a really cool way to send them off because obviously they either all die or they just all disappear in some shape or form because we're getting new X-Men, right? So they're getting their what's their encore, their second act.
Sure.
In one more movie, and that's how they sail off into the sunset.
They're getting their bow.
Honestly, though, why?
Why not?
Yeah, why not? It's that's the OG comic book franchise is X-Men.
Well, I'll tell you why, though. Let me give you an actual answer as to why before we get into mine and yours as well. It's because let's take a look at Multiverse of Madness. Let's take a look at Spider-Man No Way Home for Disney and Marvel. Nostalgia has sold, and it's sold extraordinarily well. Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield being back, huge. People loved it. Looking to see Patrick Stewart in Multiverse of Madness and all these different variants. It's one of those things that's huge. So this is a good way to introduce an old team and say goodbye to them properly, that people don't need to be explained who they are. So you know who they are. You have recognizable names that will get people to the movie theater to go and watch it. I mean, that's why. At the end of the day, it's a dollars thing, and that's why. Think it's the best move? Yes, I do. Actually, I do.
Really?
Because I think these old guys' movies really sucked. Because there was a string of times when these movies would come out. Let's think about X-Men 2.
So
And-
that was kind of the
and
point
they-
that I was going to
Go for it. Go for it.
So my point was like, they're
Wait,
not
what's
good.
your name? Who you excited for?
I don't even know. I don't even see the list.
God bless America. Put the link in the chat. Go look while you
sent
answer.
the list. Okay. Honestly, I told you I'm not really excited about any of this.
SH,
Okay, go ahead. Go on your tangent.
All right, so I thought all the X-Men movies, most of them are forgettable. Not that great.
Yeah,
You know
that's
what I
true.
mean?
That's
I
true.
mean, you got Halle Berry's fine ass playing Storm. That's
Okay.
about it. Laughable cheeks.
Yeah.
Jennifer Lawrence. But to me, they weren't great. Why go back and rehash that? Like you had like one movie that was good out of like 7.
Which one?
The OG one I kind of liked was the very
The
first
one where they fight in the Statue of
Are
Liberty?
you serious?
Yeah, it wasn't
What?
ter-
Hold on a second. No, hold on. Can I pause right there? For the time, it wasn't bad.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like it wasn't. And honestly, I think I actually like the one with Jennifer Lawrence a little more. And she's like,
Days of Future Past.
Can't remember which one.
Days
it
of Future
is,
Past?
Probably.
Days
Was
of
Matt-
Future Past is when she
That
shows
was a
up.
decent one. Like all the rest of them were like mid, man. Like they weren't great. So why bring them back? I mean, you also
I thought the original trilogy was good for its time. I obviously comparing it to what we're getting today, it's a night and day difference. Yes, but these movies came out late 90s, early 2000s. I mean, next to Blade, the X-Men franchise is also what helped save Marvel, right?
Yeah.
Because if the X-Men movies tanked horribly, then but my opinion is that the last couple movies they got were shit. Yes, you're 100% right. This is Marvel's way to correct that situation and send them out on a positive note.
I think Michael Fassbender would have been a better casting for the Magneto in Patrick Stewart. Okay, it's Professor S. Whatever. I don't care.
But we don't know if we're not getting
Or with
him, though.
Fassbender. You can
Good
do
point.
more with McEwen. How many years is he going to be able to keep being Magneto? I
Hold
know
on.
he's like-
Let me get to my point here. I'm going to go to the other side of what Ryan said. I think that when these X-Men movies were announced, what was your first reaction, Ryan? Oh shit, Halle Berry. She's a good actress, right?
Yeah.
But
And fine.
Kelsey Grammer, you get Ian McKellen,
Kelsey
you
Grammer's
get
the man.
Patrick Stewart, you get Hugh Jackman, you get James Marsden, you get all these iconic people being played by really, really good actors. And then you get Bryan Singer in the Fox universe that take all of this raw talent and drop a hot, stinky turd, in my opinion. Now, I think we can all say that once Marvel got their hands back on their babies, they have portrayed them extraordinarily well. So now I'm excited because we get all these actors and actresses that we were really excited to see. And now we get to see them done and done right. So to me, I think you guys are all a little bit right. I think you all have a piece of the pie in the way that I perceive it, in that I like these nostalgic actors because not one of them is a bad actor. They're all good.
Yeah.
They had all shit performances in one movie or another. Cyclops dying in the beginning of fucking Phoenix. Just, anyway, not going to get into that.
I almost forget that's a movie. Bro.
How they did my boy, I was not happy at all. But anyway, I digress. Now that
Who are you
these
excited
guys
for?
are back in the fold, who am I excited for?
Yeah.
I'm kind of pissed off that Rhino took my answer. Ian McKellen is 100% the most excited I've been of all the chairs when they showed them. Why? Because look at all the heroes that are there. Magneto is he is a powerhouse.
Yeah.
He is somebody that literally every single one of those heroes has to deal with. He is an Omega level strong mutant, and anybody that you throw at him, including Thor, is going to have to deal with somebody who can take that metal and turn it against them. And I think the actor obviously is fantastic. To Ryan's point, he's like 100, so he's clearly not going to be Magneto of the future.
Oh,
That's not going to happen.
Magneto.
Not to mention, let's take a look at X-Men 97 and the way that show portrays Magneto.
Yeah.
We're not going to get Ian McKellen doing that.
I
So
also
there-
think that that's a foreshadowing of what they may be planning on doing with that character as well.
Well, I think they should do a retelling of a lot of these guys. I think we should get the Professor X that's all hyped up and can walk and has the crazy helmet and isn't bound to the wheelchair all the times. I think they need to kick it up a notch, because as much as all these characters are iconic and I want to see them portrayed the right way, these guys, you portray them the right way, because the new guys that are coming, they're going to go, oh, cool. That's Magneto. I remember he's a crazy villain when we fought him on Battle World, but now this one seems a little bit different, like he's fighting for mutants. So that kind of puts the viewer in new territory with a new actor, a new rendition of a character that everybody's familiar with. So to me, I think it's 100% the right move. But that being said, let's get into the actual list itself, shall we? Starting at the very top, Chris Hemsworth, Thor. It's not, to me, an Avengers movie without Thor, while Thor's story has not been resolved. While he still exists in the MCU, you cannot call an Avengers movie Thor, or a movie Avengers movie without Thor, in my opinion.
We don't ever know if he got back with Jane.
But I want to know.
Yeah.
But Jane technically is in Valhalla right now.
He did get back with Jane at the end of that movie.
Right, but she's at Valhalla.
And he's not.
Anyway, number 2, where I was like, okay, now we're cooking with gas. Now we're excited. Vanessa Kirby, the Invisible Woman. So we're automatically deviating from the OG Avengers right there. In that very moment, you have the Fantastic Four. So to me, I know Rhino knows this, I hold the Fantastic Four in supremely high regard. I love them. I think they're great.
The royal family of Marvel.
The first family of Marvel, right? I mean, they're all those monikers that they have. So for them to be there, and we've talked about this all the time, if the Fantastic Four shows up at the Battle of Wakanda, the Avengers win. They win. Nobody's going to stop that. Because then you have Johnny, you have the Thing, you have Invisible Woman, you have Reed Richards. All those things change, all the variables on the field. This is just such an A+ power team. I'm so excited to see them. Then, of course, you get the heart and soul of the Avengers, Captain America. Anthony Mackie announced third. Obviously, Captain America is going to be in this movie. He's kind of synonymous with Thor. If you don't have it, if it's an Avengers movie, typically Captain America is going to be there. So we have him, and I think this is very indicative too. The first 3 names: Thor, Invisible Woman, Captain America. What do we remember about Endgame and the Infinity War?
No, but I'm sure you'll tell
Should
us.
have gone for the head.
yeah. Okay. The point that I'm trying to make here is there were several different teams that you followed throughout the movie.
Right.
Right. Well, ideally there's 2, but in the first one you follow the Guardians, you follow Iron Man and Spider-Man and Doctor Strange, and you followed Captain America and his crew. So I think these might be our 3 team leaders:
Mhm.
Thor, Invisible Woman, and Cap. I think that's so far just fantastic. Pun intended. Chair number 4, Sebastian Stan, Bucky. No surprise there. Letitia Wright is Black Panther, another name synonymous with Avengers. Black Panther is one of those that you expect that character to be there, and she will. And then one of my favorite unveilings, they went from the same height all the way down to the bottom for Paul Rudd's Ant-Man. I think
But
this
why?
will be
What do you mean? Why?
I think this will be part 2 to what Rhino said. I think it's a send-off for Ant-Man. I do.
What's wrong with having What's wrong with Ant-Man?
I don't know. It's-
Absolutely not.
No, nothing wrong with it. But
Absolutely
I don't know.
nothing.
After the quantum turd dump that they made.
I'm sorry for grading Ant-Man on a scale. He's still got a very passing grade. Ant-Man is definitely somebody you keep
Well,
around.
If
With
we're gonna
what-
keep Iron Man after Iron Man 3, then you're damn sure gonna keep Ant-Man after Ant-Man 3.
I don't think Iron Man 3 was as bad as Ant-Man 3.
Iron Man 3 was pure dog shit.
Ant-Man
Anyway.
3 isn't great, but freaking Paul Rudd is awesome. as
Yeah, I
Ant-Man. don't
totally
care.
agree.
Exactly.
Not to mention, he brings somebody who should be bringing much needed levity to the group. I mean, let's look
So
at
we're getting a
people
quantum
who
realm.
have that. We have Ant-Man. We have of people who are like kind of funny. You have him, Human Torch, Red Guardian,
Hold
Loki.
on.
I mean,
Wait a
you don't
second.
really have a lot of levity in this group. But let's go back, keep going
That
down the
list
list.
is bullshit.
Wyatt Russell, U.S. agent, sitting there. I'm very happy to see him. Although, spoiler alert, every member of the Thunderbolts, aside from Taskmaster, is listed here. Does that lessen the excitement for Thunderbolts for you guys?
Hell no.
I think we already had it in mind that Taskmaster dies pretty much right away.
I don't disagree with that, but
Yeah.
it means nothing to me if Taskmaster dies.
There's more
No.
cast. This is just half of the movie.
The way that
She may be literally the most forgettable Marvel character we've ever had.
in terms of the MCU, you're absolutely right.
Taskmaster?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a she. I always thought it was a dude.
It is a dude, but in the
It's-
movie,
it is. In the movie, it's a she.
yeah, and she doesn't talk, and the actual Taskmaster is a notable shit talker.
Oh, big time.
So it's like this was a complete departure from what Taskmaster is. But whatever. Anyway, moving on. U.S. agent is there now. Here is one I was not expecting to see. Tenoch Huerta Mejia, who is Namor.
Name on.
I did not expect to see Namor.
I did.
I think he was kind of forgettable in his own movie. I wasn't really
That
like
movie wasn't
he
good
didn't
in,
he didn't blow the screen off the movie. I wasn't like that whole movie to me was kind of
It's just an inclusion into like all the
That
realms
movie
and,
was
and like
terrible.
the fingers in
right.
Marvel.
It brings Atlantis
Yeah.
or what does he call it? Kotal Khan or
Yeah,
whatever.
whatever. I get
Anyway.
what you're saying.
So okay, Namor, and he's a mutant. So okay, why they give me all the names back to back. Ebon Moss Backrack, who is the Thing, and Grimm. Definitely excited to see him, especially with a notable missing persons that we'll go over after this. And I'm
Hey,
just gonna shotgun the rest. Go ahead.
I wanted to say this real quick. So, you had mentioned this about the Fantastic Four. Obviously, the end of their movie is going to somehow tie in with their departure from their reality to Battleworld in some way, shape, or form. It'll allude to it. It might show it.
Or the 616, maybe not Battle
Or the
World, but
616.
for sure.
One of those scenarios. So, because we got 2 or 3 Thunderbolts right off the bat, is there reason to believe that maybe at the end of Thunderbolts we get some sort of insight as to how they get to Battleworld? Maybe there's some sort of foreshadowing something.
I think Marvel is trying to get away from that. I truly do. I think Marvel's not trying to make a movie about the next movie anymore. They want to make movies that are contained, that don't feel like they need to be part of a chronology of films or whatever you want to call it. So I would love to see something like that because I love that strategy, if you will. But I don't think they're going to put the Fantastic Four at the end of that movie, because then that's all anybody's going to talk about.
No. What I'm saying is there any foreshadowing of the Thunderbolts themselves somehow getting to Battleworld or their universe? Yeah, not the Fantastic Four and Thunderbolts.
No, I don't
Some
think so.
sort of foreshadowing of the Thunderbolts going to Battleworld.
I don't think so. I think the movie that's going to serve as like the Thor Ragnarok that directly leads into literally the next scene being an Avengers movie is going to be the Fantastic Four movie. I don't think they're going to do that with Thunderbolts. That's just my opinion, though. Like I said, let me just list off these down. Any comments? Anybody want to stop me? Go right ahead. Simu Liu, Shang-Chi coming back. What you got?
I would say I did see somebody I'm excited to see. Winston Duke.
Okay, we are vegetarians. Simu Liu as Shang-Chi. Very excited to see him. Truly, he has been gone for way too freaking long. And my favorite lady in Marvel right now, Florence Pugh, Yelena Belova. She is charismatic. She is funny. She pops off the screen. She's literally the number one lady in Marvel right now, in my humble opinion. Kelsey Grammer back as Beast. Lewis Pullman. I did not know this guy was Bill Pullman's son. Lewis Pullman, the Sentry. I don't know if that's true or not. I just see Pullman and automatically
he is Bill Pullman's son.
Thank you. Thought so.
Yeah.
Danny Ramirez as the Falcon, which if you've seen the end of Captain America, Brave New World, that's an interesting inclusion, but I'm definitely here for it. Joseph Quinn as the Human Torch. Johnny Storm. Very excited to see Johnny. That's a different dynamic, I think, for the Flyers and for everybody. I think Johnny is a huge admission into the MCU.
Still a little sad it's not Chris Evans.
David Harbour. Hey, we got that already. David Harbour as Red Guardian. Very excited. Anytime David Harbour's playing this character, or David Harbour's on the screen, he's been great. I don't think I've seen him in anything that I haven't liked. And your boy Winston Duke, M'Baku is coming back. Hannah John Kamen, who is playing Ghost. Excited to see Ghost. I am also interested to see where she's going to play into this. Is she going to be more with the Thunderbolts? Is she going to do anything with Ant-Man? It's going to be good. Are the Thunderbolts going to get into a sticky situation? Is she going to call on Ant-Man because they were working together last time we saw them? Anyway, another big admission, which I would love to see how this guy plays in, Tom Hiddleston as Loki.
I am curious as how they're going to do that.
Right. How is the God of Stories going to come away from his chair where he's holding all these strands of reality to Battleworld?
If that's the Loki we get, though.
Right, that's true. And I think it is going to be that Loki that we get, because that is the Loki that has the closest relationship with Thor. And Thor is
not only that, but it's
a lead in this movie.
It would make sense that if these realities start to fade away to nothing, that he would be involved in some way, shape, or form.
I'm a little sad the little girl from the end of Love and Thunder is in this list.
Well,
we don't know. We don't know if she is or not.
He's also not of the caliber of this list here yet. And that's Chris Hemsworth's daughter. No, they're not going to waste a chair on that, because people are going to go, who is this? Oh, okay, she's there. You don't expect her to play a big part. All these characters that I've listed already, you expect to play a big part. They're recognizable. If you show that girl without Thor, nobody's going to know who she is.
She's also going to be more of an X-Men story.
So back down the list here. Sorry. Patrick Stewart, Professor X. That was the biggest, huge one to see, I thought, outside of Magneto, because he died in Multiverse of Madness, and we haven't really seen him do anything. We thought that might have been his send-off. And speaking of Magneto, Magento, as I like to call him, Ian McKellen, Magneto. Here's one that pisses me off. Alan Cumming as Nightcrawler. I don't really know if I like this. I love Nightcrawler. I think he's a great character. But I remember seeing a cutaway when they were making X-Men with Nightcrawler, and him saying how much he hated it and how much he would never be back because he hated doing the makeup, wanted nothing to do with it. And then Nightcrawler was mysteriously gone from the other movies until they had the young kid play him. I
like the young kid, honestly.
I do too, but hey, listen, man, I'm sure you need a paycheck, but if you don't like playing this character, don't play the character.
Well, let's also remember that it's 25 years later, so obviously the application process of makeup and prosthetics has changed significantly.
I just think that if somebody doesn't want to play a character and they don't appreciate the process in becoming that and in being that character, then piss off. Rebecca May,
devil's advocate on that for just a second.
Sure, go right ahead.
Is someone not allowed to change their mind on that particular opinion?
Absolutely, they are. I just haven't.
I just want to remind the audience that this is the same man who threatens to uninstall Marvel Rivals every time we play it.
What does that have to do with the price of tea in China?
I still don't
because we're still playing Marvel Rivals.
Okay.
Well, if you don't want to play it, don't play it.
I haven't. You were gone for a week. I rarely did.
I get it. I mean, I don't know.
I think it's okay if he changes his mind.
it's a lot to have to put on all that makeup, do all that crap. If that was me back then, what do you mean it takes 10 hours?
I'll put on that
to
makeup
shoot
3 times in a row in a day. Go ahead,
Oh, listen,
put it on me. Get me Blue or whatever the hell he is.
Exactly.
absolutely. I'm poor, so
Give it to me.
That shit for a check
Would
too, but
Work
mean,
is
honestly,
work.
I'd sit through it for free just to be on a
That's
Marvel
what
movie.
I'm saying. Jack, you're gonna play Hellboy. Okay. Okay, let's go. Well, by the way, the makeup process is I already said okay.
Yep.
Well, it's gonna be 16. I don't give a
I
fuck.
made my choice.
Can I sleep in it? Then we'll be fine.
Let's go.
Yeah.
That's the difference. And like we look at Hugh Jackman. He loves Wolverine. He loves playing that character. These guys have come forward and said things like John Bernthal. I don't want to be Punisher in this particular instance if you're not going to pay tribute to the Punisher the way he's supposed to be. Or there's so many that you can go on and look at some of these characters and be like, I actually really love this character. This is what I want to play. Thor, Chris Hemsworth. Sure, he doesn't have to do all the makeup.
But I was
but
gonna
sure,
say, but to be
the
fair,
diet
none
and
of those
exercise.
guys have to be like 10
Hey,
hours.
let's robe. You're in makeup for 17 hours.
Yeah, and then take it off. Like this motherfucker goes home, he's still blue.
Hey,
you know what I'm
hey.
saying? Like,
I didn't
that's
never
just
hear
kinda-
anything about Dave Bautista bitching about it.
How many zeros are
but is
behind
he still
my check?
being Drake?
No,
he
how
likes
many-
to be
how
with
many
Drax. He
zeros?
didn't want to be him anymore.
Well, that's because James Gunn was leaving. That's a little bit of a different story.
No, because he thought Drax's story was over. There was nothing more for him
Right.
to do.
Anyway, moving on down the line. Nightcrawler, Rebecca Romaine, who is formerly Rebecca Romaine Stamos, playing Mystique. Very cool to see her back. James Marsden back as Cyclops. I'm ready for a younger Cyclops. I'm ready for a recasting, but I'm very happy to see James Marsden get back with Marvel to do this. I need to see the bright blue and yellow. That's all I'm saying. Don't give me the black leather.
I need you to
Cyclops.
put a little oomph in the next name and just give me something good.
I need that. Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. That's what I need.
Yeah.
for the next name. Come
This
on.
guy? My name is Jeff.
Yes.
Yes. Gambit. And then
Talk about a fucking forgettable character that no one wanted to
Shut
see.
your dirty white mouth.
my
up there.
favorite, my boy, Mr. Fantastic, Pedro Pascal. I
Pedro
really
Pascal.
can't wait to see how they're going to do Mr. Fantastic. And then, of course, Robert Downey Jr. as Dr. Doom. A lot of notable names missing. Does anybody have any that they want to shout off the
I've
top
got
of their head? Go ahead, Ryan.
Aquafina. Not seeing her name. in there.
Aquafina.
I'm not sure.
Aquafina.
I think she made the Shang-Chi movie. I'm not
She
gonna
was
lie, a
she
lot
was
of ways,
absolutely great. She didn't make the movie for me. She was definitely great.
but she was awesome. And
Yeah.
then Michael Pena again, bro. What are we doing?
Wow, you are really going to the bottom of this list.
I
Aren't
don't
you?
want to get Battle World if we don't get a Hulk that isn't green. Sorry.
Guys,
No.
remember, this isn't the whole cast. They
We know.
they still haven't announced the whole cast.
We know we're still talking about people who are missing from this
And
announcement.
he is missing.
You're right.
Let's
Mark
be real.
Ruffalo is definitely a glaring
Hello.
missing name. What about you? Anybody that you thought you'd see in this list that you didn't?
I would say El Spider-Man.
Spiderman, Tom Holland, huge name missing, huge. By the way, the next movie has been announced. Spider-Man 5, Spider-Man 4, 4, brand new day, brand new day is the name of it. Very excited for that, and I think that's going to take place on Battle World, but who knows? So yours is.
So how do you get a Battle World movie without
Mark
Hulk?
Ruffalo? Yours is
Man.
Michael Pena, and yours was Tom Holland. Great. What about Wade Wilson? Where's Ryan Reynolds? Where's Huge Ackman?
I think they want to keep them around. If this is a farewell movie, you don't put those guys in a farewell movie.
I don't
Well,
think this is
it's not a farewell movie.
Any stretch of the
But they're going to
imagination.
reboot half of this cast, guaranteed, right?
It doesn't make it
Magneto,
doesn't make it a farewell. There's still another Avengers after this one.
Nightcrawler, Mystique. They're getting rebooted. You know what I mean?
How are they getting rebooted?
Like these characters are changing. We're getting different versions in the next.
I would imagine so.
Right. So that's what I'm
That's-
saying. This is like an ode to the OG.
It's still a movie that's furthering a plot
next-
line, though.
And did I see this? May have been because obviously today is April Fool's. By the way, hold on, gotta press pause, gotta stop and say really quickly, very very massive happy birthday to the guy who's over all of Seven Lamb, Robert Lamb. Happy birthday, buddy. We appreciate you. Obviously, we release under the Seven Lamb label of, or I don't know, whatever we want to
That's our
call it.
war banner.
Yeah, that's our guy. So happy birthday, Rob. Love you, buddy.
It's not really his birthday. It's a farce. It's a joke.
Feliz
Give him the
cumpleaños.
applause. Give him the applause.
Wait,
Jeez.
hold on, where is it? Hey, I got it when I couldn't even see it. There you go, Rob. Love you, buddy.
Are you pissed about Chris Evans not being announced? Are you worried about maybe those rumors about him being in this, being a villain? What's going on? And then the whole Robert Downey Jr., which you just grazed over, and all these things he's been saying about this role about Doctor Doom.
Honestly,
are
How long
very
is this
interesting.
I was about to say we honestly have a lot of things that we want to talk about. We could sit and do an entire episode speculating on how Doomsday is going to go. There's a rumor that Doomsday is already going to be split into 2 movies, which I don't believe, because they said it was going to come out in part 1 would be May and part 2 would be December in the same year. Ain't no way. I don't think that Marvel would.
It's a
do that.
big movie, though, man. It's
Well,
really,
if they film it all at one time and split it in
Like-
half, like they did with the Matrix.
like they did with Endgame and Infinity War.
yeah,
I can see it.
I
That's
can
also-
see it too.
They haven't had a lot out recently, man. Like,
Right, but those are huge movies. Why wouldn't you wait
I
a
don't-
year? They've done every
I
time.
think if they were going to do a 2-part Avengers movie, it would be Secret Wars.
Well, that's the rumor, is that it's going to be Doomsday Part 1 and 2 and then Secret Wars.
but
No, what I'm
why-
saying is I don't think it's going to be this movie, because I think if you were to do it, it would be the next one.
Secret Wars? I agree.
Yes.
I think
Yeah.
Secret Wars is the bigger story, the bigger
Yeah.
arc, the bigger everything. But I saw the story somewhere on the interweb, so it's got to be true, right?
Maybe.
Yes.
I mean, I've
I
been
think
reading.
this is more focused on Doom than it is the actual storyline, to be
I
honest
hope
with
so. I hope so. And they've the Russo brothers have come out and confirmed this is a Tony Stark variant that is Doctor Doom. 100%. So
Are there,
that's the other question that brings me to Rhino's point. He's in the MCU, Tom Holland, Spider-Man's mentor, his number 1 guy. And if you're looking at heavy hitters, leading men, well-performing actors in the industry right now in terms of comic book movies, Tom Holland's name is at the top with literally everybody else. There's nobody I would put over him right now. So he is at one point going to see a Doctor Doom that looks like his mentor and either say, I'm going to side with this guy, or holy shit, I'm going to fight this guy, or both.
or go from one side to the other once he realizes what's really going on. What's up with this?
Or you're going to
Beyonce-
see that struggle.
I've been reading.
You're going
on
to see
the
that struggle where he needs to fight the guy that he loves, he looks up to.
Yeah.
where Robert Downey Jr. becomes the Beyonder.
I don't.
Mm.
At this point, people just love to say the Beyonder. I don't even want to see the character at this point because
Well, he
I'm
didn't
just-
become the Beyonder. He became God Doom.
and that's fine. That's fine.
We
I
will
just
see it. We will see God Doom, I think.
I'm just sick of this with characters that are so powerful that they
I don't
just are
think we
beyond
would.
comprehension. Right. I don't think we'd see that. Now, unless it is a part where we see that character for an instance and Doctor Doom maybe takes their power to make him that unbeatable villain. Okay. I'll buy that. But other than that, like, you guys already know how I feel about Sentry, and they said it in the trailer recently. He's more powerful than all the Avengers combined. I was like, okay.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If you're going to bring out a character like Sentry, then you have to bring out an equal foe. Would have to be the Beyonder.
Right, but then you get into the
Oh, the
Superman,
Beyonder would wipe the floor with a Sentry in like half a second. I mean, that's not an equal fight.
which
That's
is why I think
exactly
that
what
Beyonder's
we're
a
gonna see.
stupid character to bring in. Not that he's a stupid character, but if you're trying to have relatable stakes, or you're trying to have characters
Yeah.
and you're trying to put them realistically as they are portrayed in the comic book pages, then that's just a terrible idea. Unless it's a King the Conqueror situation at the end of Loki when he's like, "Oh, you're gonna kill me. It's fine, kill me. I don't care."
I think there is one way that you could put the Beyonder in the story, and that's if the style of villain that he is in the movie is like what it was in the original comics. He doesn't have any influence. He doesn't fight really anybody. He just kind of is sitting there holding the strings and putting everything into action. Then he's like, all right, well, this was fun, and then leaves.
Sure. I and that's where it's like, you get to the point where there's already so many names. Do you have screen time for that kind of stuff? Also, they're saying this movie is going to be 3 hours. I'm here for it.
I hope it is. I hope
Just
it's
why
longer.
make it 4 and just split
I
it into
don't
2.
know. Oof,
Yeah, it's a long
Maybe.
movie. It's
maybe.
a lot to
Ryan,
watch.
if the movie were an hour and a half, I'd be concerned for you.
Well,
Well,
I've seen him watch movies that are good
look,
and enjoy them.
to be fair, I've never fallen asleep during a Spider-Man movie. I've never
I've
fallen
been there.
asleep
True.
during
It's
anything.
true.
My thing is,
I know you
like,
fell asleep during Thor,
Which one?
fact,
Which one?
the most recent one, Love and Thunder.
That one almost got me.
Yeah.
That got me.
Yep. Batman.
Wait, which one? The one with Pattinson?
Yep.
Pattinson.
For you.
Did you fall asleep during Deadpool?
No, not at all.
Okay. All right. What about
A lot of guns in it. He loves guns.
I do love.
have you
guns.
seen Cap yet or no?
Nope.
All
No,
right.
I'm not watching that.
You're not falling asleep to that one though.
No, I
guarantee
want to
you
watch
that.
Cap as soon as it gets dropped on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
I just don't want to go to theater anymore, man.
There's a lot of excitement around this movie. I'm really, really ready
Yeah.
for it. We're right around the corner from Thunderbolts, right? Thunderbolts is in May.
Yeah, 2 months.
Reading
2
a lot
months.
of
Yeah.
positive things on Thunderbolts.
It's at the end of May.
I thought it was like May 26th.
Is it? Might be.
I don't know.
Let's look it up. Hold
right.
on a second.
I might be wrong. I thought it was at the end of May.
May 2nd, 2025.
It's a month away.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I'm excited.
A lot of good things about Fantastic Four from early screenings as well.
Fantastic Four has had early screenings and they didn't invite me. Okay, so I know we have some topics that we want to get to, but let's go ahead and take our quick break. We're here kind of at the halfway mark. We talked a little long about that, but luckily that was the subject I want to talk about anyway. So I think, Rhino, you had some more you wanted to elaborate on that one too, or did we cover it?
Yeah, we can skip mine because I was going to talk about. Well, I mean, if you guys want to, we're going to talk about
let's do it.
Spider-Man.
Let's do it.
Okay.
We'll get into that. Let's take a quick break and we'll be right back.
You know, just,
And we're back. So
It doesn't mean I don't love
as we're on the topic of Doomsday, Rhino, why don't you take it away from the Great White North? By the way, I haven't forgotten my dollar.
What dollar? The dollar that you're going to owe me because you didn't introduce us to start the show?
At this point, you got to give him one before we get there, is what he's saying.
Go for it.
Anyway, so we were talking about Spider-Man, and the news that is circulating around the interwebs about Spider-Man is that it's going to be set on Doomsday, or Battle World, which is a part of Doomsday and Secret Wars.
Yeah.
And it got me thinking because we had originally suspected that the next Spider-Man movie was going to be a street level movie. And then we had the Jonathan Majors issue happen. And obviously they went in a different direction with the story arc. And it got me thinking.
Agreed.
Because what's that?
Hey, cowards. I said I agree.
So it got me thinking because we had the plot leak for what Kang Dynasty was going to be, right?
Mhm.
And that it was going to be all three Spider-Men again, and that they were going to be the anchor beings of their universes, et cetera, et cetera. We don't need to go back into it. But I wonder if now they're going to go in that direction with the Spider-Man movie instead. Not necessarily to that degree, but their involvement on Battle World has to tie in somehow with either Doomsday or Secret Wars. Now, my thinking was it would be super cool. This is just an idea. I'm not saying that this will happen, just an idea. What if the events of Spider-Man 4 were happening simultaneously to the events of Avengers Doomsday? And at the end of both movies, that is when they find each other, they team up, and the Spider-Men are like, all right, we have a plan, or all right, we have this. So the plot of the Spider-Man movie would be they're fighting obviously lower level characters. They're not going to fight a Doom level character. They could even be fighting street level guys, but the plot to their movie is somehow the device of what they end up using in Secret Wars to defeat Doom. Like, hey, look, we stumbled upon this, or hey, look, we found out this. And that connects into Doomsday.
First of all, nobody is more excited for Peter 3 to come back to the MCU than me. I definitely think there needs to be a lot of street level elements to Spider-Man, or he doesn't work. He just doesn't work. He's not a galactic character.
Sure. And that could be the villain, sure.
Him fighting Thanos, to me, it just doesn't make sense. I would like to see, and here was my question. Which one comes out first? Doomsday or Spider-Man?
Doomsday comes out first, but they could still have it to where the events of Spider-Man are happening simultaneously to what happens in Doomsday.
What?
I would like for this.
But they're making Doomsday into a double parter.
I would like for it
Well,
to
that's not necessarily true. Go ahead, sorry.
be just Tom Holland. I would like for it to be just Tom Holland. I don't want those other guys involved. I would like Spider-Man to have his day where it's him versus his street level guys and have that sense of him being overwhelmed, right? And I think what would be really cool is to see him start to lose. And then I agree with you in terms of don't see him in Doomsday. Sorry, finish your tweet. And then see him see him at the end of Spider-Man 4 sucked into Secret Wars. But I think that thing that I want Tom Holland to find to help him stop this overwhelming rush of street level villains is the symbiote. So he's starting to do that street level and he's starting to get overwhelmed. He doesn't really know how he's going to beat it. He gets the black suit and all of a sudden just starts taking him down left and right and kind of gets that Venom mindset that he has when he puts on the black suit. And then at the end of that, he's sucked into this battle world scenario in Secret Wars. And the thing that helps him right his moral anchor, because he was already dealing with a lot of anger in the No Way Home. He almost killed Green Goblin if it wasn't for Tobey Maguire. So for him to come back and then have those two guys there to be like, hey, what's all this? Or Tobey Maguire being like, hey, I know what you're dealing with. You don't want that.
Yeah.
And having
And you
that-
know what? You had
there.
talked earlier about Spider-Man potentially siding with Tony Stark Doom.
100%.
That black suit Spider-Man could be what pushes him over the edge to join him.
And then something happening to Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man is what makes him realize, oh shoot, I'm with the bad guy.
I'm glad that you respect the greatest Spider-Man in Tobey Maguire, having to take him
Peter
under
3
his
is
wing,
this is the best Spider-Man.
and to taking Tom Holland
Is
under
that
his
Tom
wing
Holland?
and rehabbing
Because if
him.
it's
I'm
not
glad.
Tom Holland, it's wrong.
It's
Wait.
Peter 3, which
No.
is
No, it's
Peter
not.
1 was Tom Holland, Peter 2 was Tobey Maguire, and Peter 3 was Andrew Garfield.
Absolutely not. Tobey Maguire
Did
is
you
the
not
greatest.
see No Way Home?
We've already talked about
Okay,
this.
shut up.
We're not too good.
But no, I so you have to go with Tobey Maguire because he is the senior most Spider-Man.
He's the best one.
He
I know.
is not the best one, but he is the most widely beloved by a lot of people.
Terrible.
And that's fine.
because he's the
People
best
love
one.
him. All right, where's Nello? Boom.
Verbal
All right.
timeout.
So I think he's the guy to do it just because he played that role in No Way Home. So he's a shoe-in to do that because he would be a character that if he died, that would hit very hard.
I want this Spider-Man to have cameos where they come and help him. I like the Amazing Spider-Man and Friends. I like that.
Okay.
Spider-Man's great, but he needs
Sure.
help.
Make
Well, then
his
there's no point in having a Spider-Man movie then.
Make his friends Luke Cage, Iron Fist, Jessica Jones, Doctor Strange, the street
The
level.
Punisher, give me those guys. I
People.
don't.
Punisher doesn't team with anybody.
I know, but he'll come in and out.
Daredevil.
Give me
Get Daredevil. in there.
Give me that. Give me that. You know what I'm saying?
Deadpool.
Yeah. He also doesn't deal with Deadpool because Deadpool kills people.
I don't want specific character movies. I don't want them to turn into cameo fests though.
Right. Me neither.
That got tiring.
The great thing about Spider-Man is he's always overwhelmed. That's why he always has that moral dilemma. It's always him versus the world. And that's what makes him such a great superhero is
Yeah.
he's one of those guys that finds the way to beat all those crazy odds. And that's why he's so endearing. To give him a team every time, I think it lessens him, right? Because then you go, well, he's not going to win. I guess who's going to pop in and help him this time? You got to have Spider-Man handle it on his own 2 feet. That's why Homecoming was so fantastic when at the end he's the one lifting the concrete off because nobody comes to help, right? They solve that right there. He's getting crushed by that building and he's screaming for help and he has real panic in his face. And then he realizes, I can do it. He calms down. He lifts that thing off and goes after it. Spider-Man's not that guy. He's been in a lot of team-up movies, but unfortunately, fortunately, all the team-ups have been helping other people. Nobody's ever shown up to help him. Know what I'm saying? And I think that's the way Spider-Man should be.
I kind of want to see where he's gonna go with this one. I want to see him mature. He's just lost his aunt.
Yeah.
He's lost Tony Stark.
Yeah, he's by
He
himself.
doesn't have his friends. He has nothing. And this is where we get like that.
Doesn't have Mary Jane.
Yeah, that Spider-Man that kind of starts to mature,
Yeah.
starts to become like battle.
Well, we're
tested.
gonna see the black suit though for sure.
And that's what
We're
I'm
gonna
hoping.
see it.
I hope
Yeah.
that ties together because that'd be like the perfect time for him, especially because he's in a real dark place too.
Yeah. Speaking of perfect timing, did you have anything else you wanted to talk about on that one, Rhino?
No, I would love to see. I mean, any of the ideas we were throwing out there, the black suit, et cetera, et cetera. I just would like to see it somehow be simultaneous to the events of Doomsday.
I completely agree. It has to tie in because I think at the end of the day, Spider-Man is going to be the most pivotal character in this saga.
You know who's not going to be there?
Blade,
Blade.
which has gone through development hell. I should owe you a crispy $2 bill
I
at
was
this
gonna
point.
say, I should get a
How
$2 bill.
egregiously
Yeah.
we were all wrong about Blade, except for you, of course.
Yep.
So let's get on your
Vaporwave.
topic, shall we,
Saying
Mr.
it's day
Ryan?
one.
Since you love Blade so much, you're the biggest Blade fan I know.
I am.
Get after it.
But like with all these movies and the cancellations, and especially what just happened with Snow White, are we worried at all about Disney? Like I've been looking at different things, and they have just been like hemorrhaging money, and they
The
keep
mouth
coming out
never
with-
hemorrhages.
Oh, but it does.
He does big time.
It does. Like
Problem is he's got deep pockets.
he does. But I mean, you're having movies after movie that keep flopping and keep missing and keep like. Do we think that they
Sorry.
can keep this up? And do we think we're going to start getting a lot more movies, or potentially no longer really do movies or something?
I don't
know.
I don't think that I don't think Disney is hurting at all. I think what has happened recently is a direct effect of what we saw with the writer strike. Just because Disney isn't just one studio, it's Marvel, it's Star Wars, it's the Disney Kingdom, it's everything. So I think that the writer strike put Disney among a lot of the studios into a situation where they were either pumping out shit or they had to cancel projects entirely. But if you think of what Disney has on the slate in the future with everything Marvel, everything Star Wars, they're not hurting in the slightest bit.
Just because they have it on the slate doesn't mean it's going to be successful. I mean,
I think Disney's suffering from
Right.
the fact that people were just
But see, the thing that we're looking at it, when you say successful, we're looking at it from a was that movie good aspect, right?
I'm actually
They're
not.
looking at it from a did that movie make me money? Now look at Captain America. You would
That's
probably
How Disney looks at it.
That's what I'm saying. Captain America
Yeah.
hasn't made money back yet.
Yes, it has.
No, it hasn't.
yes, it has big time.
Yes. It's made a ton of
It's
money.
it's over $1 billion globally.
It made plenty of money. So here's my analogy, right? Disney right now is the bad guy from Dumb and Dumber 1. And we are all Lloyd. No, sorry. Disney's Lloyd Christmas. We're the bad guy. And Disney's
How does
going,
he know I have gas?
these bags, these are IOUs. I owe you a solid Star Wars. Might want to hold on to that one. I owe you a good reboot of a classic. That's a good one too, right? Disney has failed monumentally on a lot of these projects. I think Star Wars is one that I was supremely let down with because they were starting to really start to climb and look really good with stuff that was coming out. And of course, the writer's strike, I think that's an excellent point to bring up because that's hurt a lot of people. But let's look at it like this, right? Like smaller studios, when things hurt them, they didn't put a lot of money into it. So it doesn't look like such a gigantic loss. Disney has the deepest pockets of any studio out there. So when they go big, they go really, really big. And when they lose really, really big. Now, to your point, I completely understand where you're coming from. I could see why it would look like they're a complete failure right now because I mean, with this whole Jonathan Majors thing, that was so stupid. They should have just stuck with it, let him push forward, let him keep making the movie. But they're so reactionary, and it's this, this culture now where we have to cut ties with everything and everyone. There's no second chances. We don't care. We hear one thing. If there's any validity to it, we're not going to give that person a chance. We're just going to say we're done with him because you guys don't want him. Now, okay.
Because they didn't listen to Snow White at all. Like everybody else's opinion. So I guess depends on what side of that coin that you're on.
Right. Well, Snow White was just, you listen to the actress. She said it's not 1930, whatever it is anymore. The girl's not going to come save, or the guy's not coming. She's not looking to the knight in shining armor. She's not looking to this. I'm like, okay, valid points. Then you probably don't want to make Snow White because that's
Make a
the
dollar
whole
movie.
point of the movie. So to take something that has been a storied tale for such a long time, and the cast, the description of the lead is Snow White because she's so fair and she's so white, and then to cast a Latin actress who is not white, first of all, I don't care. But when you look at that, obviously people are going to go, well, wait a minute, hold on. Why is she not as pure as the driven snow, Snow White? Well, because we wanted to have the Latin actress. Well, it's in the description.
That seems legit.
I mean, you could do Michael Clark Duncan as Kingpin because Kingpin isn't described as being, a huge, massive, bald guy. So many other adjectives that apply to him. Whereas
They don't use an adjective that describes snow
in the name. He is a kingpin of crime, which is what Michael Clark Duncan did very well. Now, Snow White, on the other hand, it's a bit of a different story, right? That's like we're going to make Amistad again with Macaulay Culkin. Right. It's, what I mean? Like,
I would just like to get back to that thing that he talked about for a second.
Sure.
The Captain America.
Yeah.
So it's made 370 million compared as of March 23rd. They said that its initial budget was 180, but it could have just broken even depending on how much.
Is that domestic or is that global?
That's
just
global.
says-
Globally, it's only about 400 million.
Okay, so they still made their money back.
Nope, they still need to hit 425 to even make their money back, which they probably still
The
will
original,
happen.
the initial budget was 180 million, but they're
Uh-huh.
saying that it could have reached up to 380.
So, well, we don't want
million
could
in
haves
reporting.
if
There is no,
just
like,
for candies
set
and nuts.
budget. Like it's saying the reported budget is around 180 million, but
Okay.
some sources suggest it could significantly be higher, possibly reaching 380 million.
You're talking about just the film's production side. You still remember everybody got to pay, so they still have to.
That's
hit
included in production.
No,
It actually did make a lot less than I thought it did. I thought for sure it was higher than that.
Listen to another movie talk about this was actually Snow White,
Uh-huh.
where they explained it how it's only made 87 million or whatever, $270 million budget.
That
but
movie
to make
is
their
a
money back, they
tank.
still have to hit almost $500 million.
They made 194 million dollars domestically and 92 globally.
Yeah, so
I'm
it's
sorry,
not
that's
right.
still a massive success for me. I mean, I get,
It's
I
a-
get where you're from.
But to them,
196 domestic and 212 international. It's at 409 million.
That's a lot of fucking money.
Well, I mean, again,
And it's also one of the highest performing Captain America
movie.
movies ever, which obviously that doesn't account for inflation and things like that. Prices.
It made
going up.
$102,000 in Slovenia.
Slovenia.
Damn.
Hey man, those are high numbers in Slovenia. You know,
I want to
those
see that
Slovenians.
Slovenian audience.
Yeah,
This
right?
Captain America bullshit. Like everybody
You know,
in there. Like, it's just. It's
I could
just
go on-
2 hours of them trashing him.
I could
You
go
know-
on such a huge tangent about this Snow White deal. The biggest issue with this is if you want to make a different movie, make a different movie.
Thank you.
If you're going to take a story that has been told 1,000 times over the last 90 years,
You can do it.
make that story. And to look at it as anything other than it being a story is just silly. And I'm
At
not
one-
trying to trounce on anyone's feelings, anything along those lines, but Snow White is Snow White. I would understand if there was some sort of underlying issue, like, the Seven Dwarves. Okay. If that would have been offensive to a certain demographic, fine.
Oh, I could.
It's Snow White.
The other thing, like, where's the woke crowd for that? They CGI'd 12 little dwarves that look like little nightmares.
Right, I get it, but where's
running
the
around on screen.
originality?
They
How
look
many
awful.
times?
Well, hold on. Like, where's that crowd then?
Oh, you didn't hear about this? Like Peter Dinklage said something about old people or whatever, so they didn't give actual actors who normally don't get any chance to play anything else because you're smaller. They went with like it's a DEI like grab back. Like, it was just crazy, bro. It was a
Bad.
tall black
Bad.
the originals were just crazy all over the place that they were going to use, and then people fought back on that, so then they went with that route. And so I guess they CGI'd it instead. I don't know because I haven't seen it and I won't see it
I won't see it
ever.
either.
Not even if there's a fire.
My favorite video that I've seen of the movie was this guy who was like, "Oh my god, the crowd went crazy when this happened," and then he showed it, and then he pans to an empty theater.
Yeah, nothing happens.
It's like,
That's
nobody. And here's the other thing, right? These actors that like want to die at the sword over these movies. They're like, "We made a great movie. We're all so proud of it. I love it so much." When is somebody gonna come out and be like, "Yeah, it sucks"? I don't know what to tell you.
I think the closest we got to that was Ben Affleck when he was doing the press tour for Batman versus Superman, and he's just
Yeah.
sitting there like,
Yeah, great, man. Let's move on.
yeah.
No, I hear that too. Like, I'm just so sick of these actors who are like, "We're just this rebel group of actors, and we made this great movie with the biggest movie company in the world." Okay, sorry, sweetie. No, No, it doesn't work like that. That being said, we're going to get off of Disney's giant rump and head on over to the Conspiracy Hour.
Oh my gosh.
Which isn't,
Oh,
it's going to
hello.
round out the show with a little bit of craziness here.
Hello, everybody. Welcome. And welcome to the last segment of the show, brought to you in part by me. Now, I've been reading, I was supposed to bring another topic, but then I was like, you know what? Let's go out the box. I want to bring to you a topic that is very interesting. AI and the fact of AI. Are we living right now
Practice?
the moment of AI?
What am I talking about? Practice?
Are we living the moment in which, like, I don't want you to harp on the religious aspect that I'm about to say. Are we living a Jesus moment where we're going through like the beginning, the birth of Jesus, or the birth of a big historical person?
Okay, rein it
Ramses,
in. Rein it in.
whatever,
Find the point.
with AI. Because we started with these chatbots, and now these chatbots have evolved and they keep evolving into quantum computing.
You're talking about the singularity.
What are we creating? Did we create
That's what you're
Create-
talking about. It's
Hold
called
on.
this.
What you sent earlier, which I thought was going to be the reason for this topic, was the gentleman who asked Chat GPT
What it looks like.
to show it what it looks like. Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what got
can
me
I
to
just
think
start
about it.
on the smaller scale there?
Sure, please.
And guys, chime in at any time here, but Chat GPT at the end of the day, in the broad spectrum of things, do I think AI is super scary for a lot of different reasons? Not like, oh my God, I'm terrified of it, but like the potential of it. Absolutely. It's terrifying. We've all seen Terminator, but it could all have these benevolent things that could happen from it too. So who knows? It's a scary subject.
It's a double-edged sword.
But, oh God, sorry.
Hey, I got you.
I'm choking. I'm dying. Somebody else take it real quick. I'll come back.
And
Yeah, so I think what you're talking about, Nello, is you're talking about the singularity where AI becomes self-aware. It becomes an actual conscious being, and I don't think we're anywhere near that in our lifetime, because I think eventually we're going to start seeing legislation put on artificial intelligence, rightfully so.
how do you legislate something that can think, act, and I guess not in a
You
physical
legislate the level at which research can go into it. The same thing was, I think, wrongfully on the other side of the spectrum. The same thing was done with stem cell research in America, because they knew what it could do to the pharmaceutical industry, right? In this instance, I mean, you're going to get a lot of pressure from the DoD on private companies creating AI-powered devices.
they're giving AI and quantum computing nuclear reactors as power. How do you can't control something, but that's not what I was getting at. I'm getting at, what are we creating?
Here's
Are we creating a conscious life? Like, what are we living? You know what
Okay.
I'm getting at?
There's too many variables to answer that question definitively, especially in the waning moments of our podcast about comic books. But what I'll say is,
We're creating Ultron. It's just what I'm saying.
okay, hold on. So here's what I'm saying, right? Chat GPT. Let's talk about that, right? That's an AI that helps people write, create new creative ideas, all kinds of stuff. Really powerful, really cool tool, I think, honestly. Do I personally use it? Sometimes, yeah. It's fun when I'm doing D&D to say, hey, I'm trying to think of this little idea, help me flesh it out, and it'll do that. Now, if you're using it for that purpose, great. But at the end of the day, it is still a system of coding, right? It's still a tool. That is it able to think faster? Sure. Does it have limits? Absolutely. Yeah. So there's a lot of things that you can't really be overwhelmed with. Like if you look at an artist and say, hey, draw me a picture, and then it draws you a picture, you go, holy shit, it drew a picture. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a tool that you're making a request to, and it is fulfilling that request. Now, whatever it looks like, it's also reacting to everything that person has typed in the chat leading up to that. So you don't know what that consists of. There's way too many variables to say right now that Chat GPT is, now AI is a broader spectrum. What's its coding? What's its limit? What has it been allowed to do? What is it told to do before you can say, yeah, and that's where Rhino's point comes in perfectly well. That should be regulated and looked at. And do I think at some point that machines and AI might take over in terms of like the dominant species on the planet? Absolutely. I believe that. I think that could definitely be a thing. But do I think we're there yet? No, I think it takes a lot of things to look at and and consider before we get to that point, right? Because at the end of the day, it's still a tool. Do I think we're looking at the creation of a brand new species right now? Absolutely not. There's a fun fact that I posted the other day to social media that we talked about prior to the show that I think is very important in this argument, right? So in the history of the Earth, as far as we can calculate and we know, if that was to be translated to a calendar year, right, in terms of time. So the beginning of the Earth, the beginning of calculated time for us being January 1st, 001, right? Humans show up on that calendar December 31st at 11:59. So we have not been here for very long, right? We talk about when do we start calculating time, right? 2025. Let's say it's 2025 years. Now I know that's AD, BC, and it's been calculated much longer than that, but let's just take that small number, 2025. And then let's talk about dinosaurs that were discovered some 65 million years ago.
And we don't really
Let's
know
look at
how
that
long
number,
it's been here.
65 million compared to 2025. Now, I think, are we the end all be all for existence? Probably not. Are we going to be around when that changes? I don't think so. But, you know, I've been wrong
we're
before.
witnessing the birth of something. This AI, these quantum computers, something. No, but it's not just a computer. This is a computer that can think. I just want to say one thing before we go.
Okay.
Google created Play Go. Have you ever heard of Go? This game. It's like a strategy game.
I have
or
not.
Something. Anyways, these two AI or like simple AI play Go against each other. When these two bots realized that Google was watching them communicate, they created a whole new language that only they could understand to subvert the people watching them, and they had to shut it down. Now, this is a simple AI, like a program that was created to create.
Now, hold on. You're saying simple AI,
right?
Let's go ahead.
Compared to what is there now,
let's put that into comparative terms, right? Simple to me is probably different than simple to somebody like Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Of course.
So simple could still be wildly complicated because I know some people who can't work self-checkout. Right. So let's talk about operating on different levels. So simple to them might be something that you and I are just looking at like, yeah, sure. No, I get it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Hey man, they missed their Walmart orientation. That's not their fault.
But in the grand scheme of AI, I'm just saying these two things were created to play a game against each other and communicate.
Sure.
They realized that they were being watched and monitored, and they created a completely different language in just 001s in code that only they understood.
Right. So
that's fascinating.
So what?
Can I piggyback off of what he's saying real quick? Because I'm actually gonna agree with him. It's one of the rare moments.
Go for it.
But you had made the comment earlier about how it's still coded, it's still written by a person. That the problem with that is that there have been multiple AI research programs that have actually been shut down because the programs and the simulations they were writing would then take over on their own, and they would start writing and creating programming on their own.
Right.
Which means they are understanding what we are doing and then taking it and improving it exponentially on their own without our input. Right. So that is the actual scary reality of what AI is capable of.
Yeah,
because once you get to a certain point, we are being outdone.
We haven't created.
We're already being outdone.
But this machine can think faster. Like I was listening to a podcast, and they were the chess people were talking about playing like this AI and this supercomputers. Like it thinks so fast.
Yeah,
they can't get to it.
Yeah,
they just can't. Even
we don't have the ability to process at the level that it does.
The jet fighters in the plane when they play, it's like an AI controlled plane and a human controlled. The AI always wins.
Right,
99% effective. That's crazy.
Yeah,
I'm just saying we're living the birth of something. What it is up to you how you see it.
No, well,
whether it's science-based or religion-based or whatever you want to call it, it's a belief system either way.
I don't think religion has anything to do with a computer.
Well, I'm sure there's people out there that would disagree with that statement.
Well, you could look at it philosophically and say man created God.
Also true.
I mean, you never know.
We won't be alive for it, but Skynet's real. Do you think they're going to look like Schwarzenegger when they come out? Like they
God, I hope so. Just naked and everything.
Yeah, I want him to walk up to me buck naked looking for my jacket.
If he asked me for my boots, my keys, and my motorcycle, yes, sir.
Here you go.
Well, what about the
yes, daddy.
Just download yourself into a new body.
That I'm interested in.
Right?
That I want to talk about.
Thanks, everybody. I
All
love you.
right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you, Nello. Appreciate it. Rhino, Ryan, thank you so much, as always, for joining us here. Episode 185. We'll see you guys next week for episode 186. Stick with Daredevil. It's really starting to heat up. It's looking good. Maybe we'll talk a little bit about that next week as we're getting closer and closer to the ending of that series. So, for all of us here at the Alter Ego Podcast, see you next week, gang. Oh, I love that little groove right there. And I love you.